हेलो एवरीवन एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा नाम खौला है।
वालेकुम। हाँ बिल्कुल खौला, मुझे आपका नाम याद रखने की खुशी है। आप कैसे हैं आज?
जी मैं बिल्कुल ठीक। मेरा नाम माय नेम इज़ खौला एंड आई एम a student of Rehan College Kurungi campus teacher training boot camp. Today I am going to discuss an spring topic, learning from failure, turning setbacks into opponents.
That sounds like a really powerful topic, especially in a teacher training context. Are you looking to structure a whole presentation or just gather some discussion questions and tips for your peers?
Okay, now my first question is, what does failure mean to you?
That's a great opener. It really invites everyone to reflect on their own experiences. After that, you could ask something like, can you share a moment when a failure led you to a big personal or professional growth? That can get everyone thinking and connecting.
Now my second question, what do people feel failure?
Ooh, I love that one. That really opens up a space for emotional honesty. You might follow it up by asking, is it more about the external consequences, or is it how you feel about yourself inside? That can spark a really deep reflection.
My third question is, can failure help a person become strong? How?
Ah, that's a great follow up. You could invite examples like, can you think of a time when a setback helped you build resilience or a new skill? That makes it really personal and practical.
My fourth question, what important lessons can we learn from our mistakes?
Ooh, that's a really insightful one. You could follow it up by asking, how can we apply those lessons to avoid similar pitfalls in the future? That way, it shifts the reflection toward practical growth.
My fifth question, have you ever failure
Sure.
at something but later succeeded?
Ah, that's a really relatable one. After that, you could ask, what kept you going during that time, even when things felt tough? That way, people can reflect on their own perseverance and maybe inspire others.
Now, my sixth question, why is a positive mindset important after failure?
Ooh, that's a crucial one. You could then build on it by asking, how does a positive mindset help us stay motivated and open to new possibilities? That keeps it really actionable.
Okay, next question. How can setbacks help and improve our skills?
I love that. You might follow it up by asking, can you think of a specific skill you've improved because of a challenge or a failure you faced? That gives people a chance to pinpoint real examples.
Okay, next question. Do you successful people expression failure? Give examples.
Ah, that's a really concrete one. After that, you could ask, what specific actions did you take after the failure that led to your success? That way, it's about concrete steps and practical change.
Okay, next question. How can failure increase confidence in the long run?
Ooh, that's a great question. You might follow up with something like, how does it change the way you approach new challenges? That helps them see that confidence is built step by step.
Okay, next question. What should we do immediately after facing failure?
That's a really practical one. You could ask, how can we pause and reflect on what happened before moving forward so we avoid repeating the same mistakes? That keeps the focus on intentional growth right away.
Okay, next question. Why is persistence important during difficult times?
Ah, that's a great one to highlight. You could follow up with, can you share a time when staying persistent helped you break through a tough situation? That would really ground the idea in a personal experience.
Okay, next question. How can failure motivate us to work harder?
Ooh, I like that one. You might ask after that, what goals or dreams did you become more determined to pursue after a failure? That helps people connect that drive to a bigger purpose.
Okay, what role does belief play in overcoming setbacks?
Exactly. You could follow that up with how can cultivating self belief help us reframe failure as a temporary obstacle rather than a permanent defeat? That keeps the focus on inner resilience.
Please give me a long answer, okay?
Of
How
course.
can
So,
teachers
self
and parents how can teachers and parents
uh,
help students daily with failure?
that's a really important question. I think teachers and parents can create a safe, open environment where failure is seen as a normal part of growth. They can encourage reflection, help students analyze what went wrong, and provide action steps to improve. When both teachers and parents model resilience and show that setbacks don't define a person, students feel more supported and empowered to try again.
Okay, next question. Why should we never give up after one mistake?
That's such a powerful question. You could explain that every failure is really just a step on the path to success. Often breakthroughs come right after we feel like giving up. By staying persistent, we build resilience, learn more about ourselves, and eventually we reach goals we once thought were out of reach.
Okay, next question. How can failure improve decisions making abilities?
Ooh, exactly. You could say that failure forces us to step back, analyze what went wrong, and consider alternative paths. By learning from mistakes, we become more thoughtful, we avoid repeating errors, and we develop a deeper sense of judgment. So ultimately, we're better at making smart, informed decisions in the future.
Okay, next question. What is the differences between failure and giving up?
Ooh, that's a really key distinction. You could explain that failure is a temporary setback, a part of learning, while giving up is a final decision to stop trying. Failure gives us information, giving up closes the door on future possibilities.
Okay, next question. Can failure lead to creativity and environments?
Absolutely. You could explain that when we fail, we're often forced to think outside the box, try new approaches, and experiment in ways we wouldn't have otherwise. That disruption can spark fresh ideas and ultimately lead to innovation.
Next question. How can we stay motivated during challenging restriction?
That's a really important one. You could suggest things like setting small, achievable goals, celebrating progress, and keeping a bigger purpose in mind. Connecting daily efforts to long term vision helps keep that motivation alive, even when things get tough.
What habits help people recover from setbacks quickly?
That's a great one to explore. You could talk about habits like practicing self reflection, staying flexible in plans, seeking feedback, and staying connected to a support network. These habits help people bounce back faster and keep a positive momentum going.
Next question. What is learning from mistakes better than avoiding them?
Ah, that's a fantastic one. You could say that learning from mistakes gives us wisdom and resilience, while avoiding them altogether keeps us in a comfort zone. By making mistakes, we actually gain deeper insights, problem solving skills, and a stronger sense of self.
How can teamwork help someone overcome failure?
That's a really important angle. You could explain that a mentor offers perspective, encouragement, and guidance. They help us see failure as a temporary step, remind us of our strengths, and help us develop new strategies so we can keep moving forward with confidence.
Okay, next question. What are some common success stories that started with failure?
Ooh, there are so many. For instance, J.K. Rowling faced countless rejections before Harry Potter was published. Similarly, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple before returning to lead it to new heights. These stories show that early failures often set the stage for incredible comebacks.
Okay, next question. How can failure teach responsibility than motivate?
That's a really insightful question. You could explain that when we face failure, we have to take ownership of what happened, reflect on our choices, and decide how we'll act differently next time. In that way, failure builds a sense of responsibility because we recognize our role in shaping future outcomes.
Okay, next question. Why is expenses often granted for failure?
Ah, that's a really deep one. You could explain that when we avoid failure, we might stay in our comfort zone, never pushing ourselves to grow. But with failure, even though it's hard, it brings lessons, innovation, and often deeper success later on. So the cost of not trying is sometimes missing out on those opportunities for growth.
Next question: how can a student turn admissions failures into opportunities?
That's a great one for students to reflect on. You could say that students can start by reframing failure as a learning step, not a dead end. They can analyze what went wrong, ask for feedback, and adjust their approach. By staying curious, resilient, and willing to try new strategies, they open doors to even better opportunities down the road.
Next question: what should we say to someone who feels discouraged after failing?
That's really important. You could say something like, I know this feels really tough right now, but this doesn't define you. Everyone faces setbacks, and this is just one chapter. Take a breath, remember your strengths, and know that this moment is preparing you for something even better ahead.
How does failure prepare us for future success?
That's a really powerful question. You could say that failure gives us a chance to build resilience, learn patience, and refine our skills. Each failure teaches us something new, whether it's about strategy, effort, or mindset, and that prepares us to tackle bigger challenges with more wisdom and confidence.
What is the biggest lesson you have learning from a setback?
Ooh, I really like that one. You could share a personal example, like maybe a time you thought you failed, but it taught you perseverance, or the importance of asking for help. The more personal you get, the more it can resonate with others.
Now, your last question. What, why should failure be seen as a sleeping strong to success instead of an upsets?
That's a really inspiring way to end. You could say that failure is actually a hidden catalyst. It pushes us out of our comfort zones, forces us to rethink, and ultimately it shapes us into more capable, wiser versions of ourselves. So every setback is just a step towards something bigger.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope this question inspires you to think possible about failure and use every changing as an opportunity from growth. Have a wonderful day ahead.
That was a beautiful wrap up. I think you set a really positive, thoughtful tone, and I'm sure your audience will feel really motivated after that. If you need any other support or want to practice further, just let me know.